Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chats with Darla and Kat. And today we have Miss Ruth Elisabeth, who is the author and creator of the Diamond Matrix Self Mastery Level 1. And we're going to have her in today to talk about her book, some of the extraordinary tidbits that she can give you in regards to becoming soul sovereign, as well as so many other little details along the way. I am honored and blessed to have Ruthie here. This woman has navigated some great waters with me over the last year, and I want to be able to share her with the whole world because she's really given me the tools and the keys to help me keep going forward with what I was already doing and just expanding on them and bringing it in where I'm able to do a lot more work at a more rapid rate. So I really want to spotlight her in regards to what she's doing because she deserves it. And I'm just honored to work with her. So, Ruth, can you tell us how you got started in writing your book?
Yeah, how I got started in writing, it was like, you know how you're just always sharing stuff? So it's sort of like you get an epiphany and then you share it with those around you and you get another epiphany and you share that as well. And it was just one epiphany after another because it all didn't happen in 18 months. It happened like over 30 years. So it's kind of a long trip. But the beauty of the book is that each part of it is pinnacle after pinnacle of an understanding coming through. So epiphany after epiphany after epiphany when I'm asking or seeking a question on something. And so, I mean, my whole trip here was about manifestation. So I had to actually, I wasn't very good at it to start off with, had some horrible stuff going on in life and needed to heal from it. And so, yeah, it's been quite the journey when it comes to that. But then we're in this remarkable time where about 20 years ago now, I was told that we're going to come into diamond. So I'd initiated through silver creating, then gold creating, and then diamond was next. And it took about 15 years for that to happen. So it's been a long journey to initiate into this new frequency. And then we initiated into it, or I did, and there was like nobody else was talking about it. It's like, oh, is this ever going to be recognized? So it's really amazing being at this point in time and able to share about it. And not only that, it's to do the work, because the diamond is the I am presence and the Christ-centered, with the heart open, the heart's chakra opening. So it's an initiation process to come into diamond. And people are still unaware of it. So, yeah, the book in itself is showing a person how to function, and they go back to front. Normally we're back to front and upside down to ourselves because we're in duality. So I talk about this as being 5D. This is 3D. And this is our manifest world. So this is by the law of reflection, what we as the creator are actually creating. But most of us don't take on the full understanding that we are sovereign creators. And it's not until we understand that we're a sovereign soul that we can actually start thinking like this. So the first question, I'll just put it out there because it's so important, this question. It's so cool. I use it all the time. If your soul pulled out of the top of your head right now, what would your body do? It'd fall on the ground. Joe does that. So wonderful, falling on the ground. And that's true. So if soul is purest light, if it's the I am presence coming through us, a holy Christos self, which is what we're coming into more and more of, in our total self now in ascension, then shouldn't we be learning about how to function as a manifesting creator? Because we are the creator dropped down into the little pointy me, which is giving me life itself. It is life. I am life. And so I had to turn around from being that person back to front in duality and in Pisces, where you cannot win. You simply cannot win if you're using the law constructs that go with Pisces. You can't win. It has to end in our physicality, and it has to end with our reflection. We've got to be able to empty that out, because otherwise it's built on human law constructs instead of universal law constructs.
Awesome. Awesome. See, and then if there's any questions, you know that you can reach out to myself, Kat, or Ruth anywhere. You know, you can definitely patch into the Diamond Matrix so that you can get connected with her as well. But there are many of us who are starting to move into all of this and actually beginning to help others in their lives to walk through that transition. And so, what I wanted to ask you, Ruth, how important is it to get your triune being in balance?
Okay, well, we might ask the question about what is your triune being? Okay, your triune being is your soul. Okay, and people confuse the soul as being broken or not yet having, you know, come into realization or whatever. And I see it as different to that. And that's what unity consciousness is. Unity consciousness has the one source. That's it. You know, we're not split off or fragmented. So the soul itself is a triune being. And the triune being is the divine feminine to the left-hand side, operates with the left-hand side of your brain and body. The divine feminine and masculine, is the right-hand side of the brain and the body. So we're doing a lot more deliberate work with that. And the divine inner child is the interpreter or bringer in of the lived reality and experience. Oh, thank you. Somebody has to draw this for me because I still don't have it drawn out. So the triune being is the 3 in 1. So it's all of that action happening together all at the same time in coordination with my little pointy me. So I'll talk about the greater me and the little pointy me, which is the avatar me running around in that. And what we're always trying to do is we're trying to defeat our ego. And I say, don't even bother. Okay, don't even attack yourself. Why should you attack yourself when you're a great being of light? Okay, so the triune being is our true identity. Isn't that cool?
That's amazing. That part is amazing. And I love how, you know, the last few weeks I've covered, you know, each individual segment of this, of the divine inner child, talking about the adventure, living it and being part of it. And how important is that? And then coming back to the realization and tossing things back to the divine masculine and the divine feminine so that the creation can be made while, you know, the action can be done so that it can be delivered to this world so that the inner child can actually participate. So we have these 3 components here that bring it into completion. And it's like, oh, so here we are in the beginning of the foundations of creation. Here we are made whole and complete. And then we're brought into this world, and delusions have been built within us that we're actually having to dissect and tear apart. And then we're coming back into that wholeness and that creation of who we are in that whole complete state that we always have been. We just happen to believe that we're not. And coming back into that balance is what it's all about. And that's what Ruth has really provided for the world, is an opportunity to bring you back into that balance so that you can actually understand that just as God created us, he created us to be like him, a creator. So here we are doing exactly the same thing, connected with one another. How many times do I have an idea and somebody else has that same exact idea? And then we're like, hey, wait, are they stealing my idea? No, we're just on the same page and we're feeling the same thing. And it's a part of us collectively coming together so that we can move and do into these things. So, I mean, it's just a beautiful reflection going out into the world. Once you're in balance, you can actually accept everybody exactly where they're at. And you can see, because you're no longer tapping in and playing the game, no longer being judgmental and being in your pointy self going, what are they doing? You know, instead you're back over here going, hey, oh, I've been there too. It's okay. They're in their process. and you just move on and continue doing what you're doing, and you don't allow those things no longer. It's like a automatic, the buffers that go up, the bumpers when you're bowling down the lane and you got the little kids out there, you pull up the bumpers so that the ball doesn't go into the gutter, right? So it's the same thing. When we get ourselves in balance, we're pulling in those bumpers that go, whoa, wait, oh, I get to stay right on my path. So, I mean, it's just a beautiful thing that I've learned through the years, but also through Ruth, because we just came together. It was like meeting my soul sister. Yeah, it was like, that is my soul right there. That girl knows. And I a year ago, I stumbled upon her and I was just in her class and I was like, let me tell you. And she was like, yeah, okay, well, let me run my class, because we were both in such a heart space of wanting to get this out to the world. And it's just such an honor to meet someone else who wants to really see the world transformed and rearranged, and love being the key.
So for me,
Oh, Darla, you're so gorgeous. Thank you.
for me, reading your book, I tell everybody your book is a journey. I've recommended it to so many people, like nonstop. I thought when Darla recommended it, I thought I was just gonna read it like a book, like I'm the type of person, like when I start a book, I just like can't put it down until I finish it, especially if it really like grabs me. And that first chapter, I was like, what is she talking about? Because I was like, lore. I mean, I know what the word lore means, but I just wasn't like connecting. So like I had to look up some words. And then as soon as I looked up a couple of words, I was right. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I was right there. And so I read that first chapter and I couldn't go past that. I had to stop and really sit with the questions you asked, the questions you posed. And so I tell, to me, your book is really like a journey to going as deep as you can within yourself to really see the truth of who you are. And yesterday when I had this overwhelming urge to start writing, and what came to me was questions. It was almost like questions were coming, and then I was like answering these questions, and I was asked, what does the observer do? What does he see? And it was like love or hate, the pain and struggle or the joy. And then I was like just sitting there with it, like what does the observer see? The observer sees the consequences in action. And so many of us, what came to me in that is so many of us do not face ourselves. We're so afraid to face the darkness within ourselves. And, myself, I've spent so much time trying to be perfect and thinking I was perfect because I was trying to be perfect, like completely unaware of, the darkness in me and how I hurt people. And, that really got to me in a great way though, right? Because what does the darkness reveal? It reveals the truth hidden within that darkness. It reveals the fear of facing that truth, of facing, yourself in totality, like not just the good stuff, not just the good stuff that you're seeing in yourself, the stuff that you can improve upon, the stuff that you can make better. And we believe we are limited beings. We believe that because somebody put that in us and it got passed down generation after generation. And we're only confined by the limitations of our mind, what we say we are limited by, And that's really just come through so strongly for me with reading your book and helping me to find my voice and to realize like I do matter and I am important, and I can't thank you enough for that. Like I really can't.
And that's
Our work is transformational.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? If I can speak into that,
Yes, ma'am.
See, the beauty of unity consciousness and knowing that your triune being is in you. So divine mother, divine father, and the divine inner child makes up the creation itself. So it makes up my physical body is a world, a vibrational world that's built perfect. And yes, we do come in and get imprinted, but the greater thing, Kat, is that when you come into alignment, and I teach people how to be whole in a holy instant, whole, WHOLE, in a holy, HOLY instant, like that. And that means I can snap on my light, and in that alignment, I'm free. Okay? Because you see darkness and density. So rather than darkness, as in seeing the bad stuff, it's actually, there's innocence at the base of everything. And so the innocence is revealed every time you come into the purity of turning your light body on, which is what we do. We actually turn people's light, we set up a person's light body and connect you to your sovereign soul. It's what we do in our 90-minute auric field setup, brain chemistry and all that. We go through the whole system so that you come into your wholeness, because we want, I think your journey there is so beautiful. But the point is that the soul is the purest light within you. And Tara said this, Darla, that the light is the darkest place within you. Now, that's the true reality. Light is the darkest place within you.
And that's what came to me, was that the dark reveals the light in you. You know,
Yeah.
it's a contrast to seeing, you know, how beautiful you are as a person. Like, we are so focused on the negative within us that we don't even stop to focus on the positive within us. And that was like, whoa, like, I'm a great person. I'm a good person. I have a huge heart. I have so much love to give this world. And I've always known that. And I've just been afraid to like be that and step into that and not have strings attached to that, not say, you know, I'm only going to love you, but only if you love me back, you know. And it was, for me, it was really recognizing everything loving me, everything. I started to ask the question, how are you loving me? How are you serving me? To the trees, to the rocks, to the, you know, my house, like everything is loving me. And when I saw that, when I saw the pain of other people lashing out, I could see the love in it. And it humbled me. It humbled me.
That is beautiful. And you know, this is what, Ruth, this is what your book is doing for people. That's what I want you to see, is I want you to see how much you're rearranging lives.
Yeah.
Because you sat with it long enough to create it. You've built an area where people can actually continue a journey where everybody else in this world, the natural, everything around us every day, doesn't have these tools. And when they seek out, when they're sitting there asking those questions about themselves, when they're seeking out, well, there's got to be more. I'm hearing things and I'm knowing things, but I'm not confident because this is different than everyone else. Because the matrix part of the world is just in its function and in its flow. So you get up every day, you go to work and you do your regular routines. But there's more. And you sit there going, well, why? What's wrong with me? There's not a single thing wrong with you. You just happen to be waking up. You're realizing you're taking on more and accepting yourself. And in that process, it can be hard. So in that space, if there are people that are listening to this today, Ruth, what way can they reach out to you so that they can actually get on board with the Diamond Matrix? If it's something that they feel in their heart that they're really looking to do more with, how can we get them connected to you?
Okay, so you can get a taster of me on YouTube. I keep forgetting to mention it. I've got a number of YouTubes up there, and I was it's funny because I just spotted, I've never really looked at them, you know, it's just on your phone or something or other. And the other day it was on the screen and I go, oh, that was interesting. But, and I made myself laugh, which was interesting. But I'm also imparting diamond. Okay. So our work is imparting the diamond energy, which resets, it recalibrates your physical, mental, and emotional bodies. So we're 4 bodies, and the diamond energy goes in to the original seed of us, because we came in as a vibrational signature. And so what it's doing is it's reawakening all of those channels and those reunions back into light. So my work is for crossing over the bridge and coming in through and initiating the opening of the heart center. So people are at the moment are going through major initiations of the heart, and to go through it, if you're going through it organically, we're talking about hours of being in labor. And it's like you've got chest pain and, you know, elephants on your chest and all this stuff going on. So we initiate people through that safely, and by doing Palladian light work and now some Arcturian light work, or it's actually happening within the diamond energy. So I'm spending time with someone in labor while my heart's going off because our light bodies are connected, and the diamond. So the soul is now stepping out in incredible power to impart. And so the first thing that we do is set up people's light bodies and do their brain chemistry realignment. So all of their channels are open, and then their spinal column and central nervous system all associated and attached. But the school itself is 30 hours, and it's an initiation school where we go through the light body, but then we go through the diamond light body recoding. And so we're putting all of these lovely things within us and removing stuff off our quantum field, because we're quantum creators. And until you actually understand quantum law and that you are a quantum creator, that every vibration, it doesn't matter what it is. And Kat, this is probably a better way of putting what you were struggling with, was that all you're doing is seeing what has been put onto your quantum field, which is inside your original DNA, which is inside your body. And so it's really important to understand that you have the power to pull out every vibrational story that has been created within you and is been held in your subconscious and conscious minds. And that's what we're doing, is we're pulling a vast majority of that, plus cleansing the lineage generationally and bringing us into now. So there is no past, there's no future. There's actually only here right now creating. So this is cleaning up the energetic vibration. Where can you find me? Getting back to answering the question. diamondmatrixmasters.net is the website. And look, it's worth a read through. You know, it's like I've got a few videos up explaining different parts in that, but we can heal with the diamond energy. You know, I was told that we couldn't heal cerebral palsy or Down syndrome until we come into diamond. Now that's powerful. That's powerful. And you have to know yourself as a creator, and you have to know that you have the authority. So you have to know who you are, that you are a master, okay, that you have free will, and nothing can go onto your field unless you project it yourself. And if you're actually living by the law of reflection, something that you don't like, okay, then you have the power to remove it, you know? And so we're teaching you all of these basics that are so basic and functional to being a conscious creator, particularly coming into the new age. So we've got the new consciousness in the earth now. Oh, so beautiful. It's so innocent. So this is your new identity, Kat and Darla, is that we're just coming into this new childlike innocence that has done nothing wrong, never could, is blossoming into the new age. It's just a stunning time. So this is great, this bridging. Get the bridging done really quickly so we can set up your light body all the way through to the higher and multidimensional universe, and then we can tap into 5D. And Diamond Matrix Masters has, you know, everything. You see, if we're healing our world, if we know that, you were saying before, Kat, you said something about all you want to do is love me. Okay. And so you can bring all of these things into love relationships instead of being ones of separation. So all you want to do is love me is a quantum principle that you're actually speaking that logos word on. It's very powerful to apply. But imagine becoming a creator that goes, you've come in and you've healed all your stuff and you've cleaned out that closet and you're connected and you turn to a place and position. Now, this is what's coming, is all I want to do is love you.
Yes, absolutely.
All I want to do is love you. And you look on anything within community relationships and go, oh my God, I love you so much. I just want to manifest for you.
Yes.
I just want to pour out because I'm a creator. I know that I've got divine feminine, divine masculine, divine inner child in me, capable of working with my field to pour out anything. And this is the time that we're coming. And by the magnetics and what I teach on and the law of acquisition. The law of acquisition was the greatest gift to me because every single one of us is using it in every minute, in every holy instant. We are choosing what comes to us and what doesn't. And then we've got wrapped in time and space, okay, things that bring hardship onto us. The purity of your soul, the purity of the divine feminine, she's got no issues. She's the mother of creation. You don't have to fix her. When you come into alignment, there's nothing to change or fix about you. Isn't that beautiful? Nothing to do. Nothing to do. There's nothing that you could possibly do to make her more perfect. And if you want to, you can go have a chat with her and say, excuse me, I don't think you're doing enough.
She'll tell you.
I need to have that talk with divine masculine.
No, he's glorious. He's the nurturer. He's the one that going, all I want to do is love you. He's saying that to you. Will you just be loved? And then we go poking around in duality and Pisces, looking for stuff, good versus bad, right versus wrong. I'm not good enough. And that is not true. Okay. It is of experience, but we're bringing that to an end. We're actually shutting that down and starving it out. What you don't feed won't breed.
So what you just said really triggered something for me in regards to a positive trigger, to actually bring something else up. Can you discuss a little bit more about coming out of duality and what duality really is about? What is that? Because we're all struggling with it. We all get these, oh, I'm thinking this way, but this is what I'm creating. Oh, this is happening. And then, oh, wait, this is what I want. So coming out of duality or in duality, I want you to talk about duality.
But I want to add something to what you just said too, that will go along with what she said. What you said just now too, that really came to me was how much I had not been loving myself and how much I'm in resistance to loving myself has really come out strong. Like, I haven't always noticed the ways in which people were loving me. So then when I did, and I was like, oh, and I could see how I wasn't loving me, but also the resistance to me loving myself.
Yes.
Which is a really weird, it's a really weird thing to come face to face with.
It's so beautiful. And this is where your sovereign soul is just going, oh my God, if you only knew that we were already loved. So it's sort of like, and then I want to pour out as a creator into creation, getting beyond this separative viewpoint that's been imprinted in us. And I mean, that has been the duality of Pisces. The Piscean age was based on good versus bad, right versus wrong. Now, what we're looking at is every vibrational consideration that we put onto our quantum field. So if you put anything out, a thought that has a judgment or opinion in it, and this is a part of our seminar that we do in the school called Don't Play the Game. And if you can turn it into a game, you're not going to be in self-judgment because you can choose not to play the game, which means I stay in alignment. I come into alignment, back into alignment. So we're teaching you how not to play the game, which is just a stunning piece that is teaching your mental and emotional bodies. Okay. And your mental body has to know that You don't even have to worry about your mental body. It's like, just let the thoughts go through. It's only when you grab hold of it and hook into something that it's going to become something, which is just a trigger from your past. Well, that's boring. I've already lived it.
Right?
For
Right.
God's sakes, let it go, But it's actually alchemy. So alchemy is my favorite word, and Saint Germain taught me a lot of this, is that alchemy is the letting go part. So it's one, I'm not hooking onto it, but two, if I do get hooked in the game, which is victim, intimidator, rescuer, and I actually hook into that vibrational story of someone did this to me and I'm this and whatever, okay, and it just pulsates out there on my quantum field, well, all I'm doing is perpetuating it into my future. And so it continues on because I'm the creator that's perpetuating it. So we're wanting to absolutely let it go. And this is where the function of understanding quantum law works. Okay, is that if you're the one that can choose immediately, I'm not doing any of plan B. Plan A, creating, is in the divine will and allowing my divine feminine to bring through intuitive thought, dreams, visions, knowledge, strategy, etc. coming. Everything that we think and feel comes through her if we're in alignment. And then the divine masculine goes, so be it, we're going to create that. And the divine inner child brings that into a perfect world. But when we're in duality, it pinches off the creation and we end up oppressing ourselves. So people go, oh, I have problems with female relationships or male relationships. And it's because we're pinching off the divine feminine and we're back to front in the little pointy will, okay, trying to battle duality. See, this is where you've got to get past, Kat, let go of duality completely. Just let it go. Okay, and you just focus on this, which is whole.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
right
that
there is
is so strong this week. Is just to let but I've been learning so much from something that's going on. So I've been just like surrendering, honestly, because we try so much to control, everything. And, I really see how, the consequence in action, and I can see how all of our creations, like you said, they all have to depixelate because there was no love in it. There was no love in these creations. These creations were greed, and now all of our greedy creations have overlapped, and it's almost like a ball of tangled up yarn that we're like, hold on, let me get this back out, and coming back into, because what was God's creation? It was perfect order, and it was the knowledge of duality which separated us from that, so that we could learn that why that perfect order is perfect order, at least that's what.
that right there, though, Kat, with what you're saying there is what I'm seeing is where you're finally moving and transitioning in your understanding to the zero consequence. So instead of untangling that yarn ball, literally, you have control. Remove it from your field. It's no longer part. You can actually let that go. Our words are the spell.
Yes.
Our words are our creation. Our words are our life or our death. We are totally in charge of that. So if we have something that's coming up, we don't have to feed it anymore. We can disarm it, let it go, and release it, and allow ourselves now, once we recognize it, to begin creating the world in which we want.
Yeah. I think what's been coming to me so strongly this week is because it kept going back. I kept seeing my zodiac, right? Like in the stars. I'm a Capricorn. And that image of the Mergo in the stars, like it's just been popping out. And the question that I kept asking was, how did they create the matrix? Like, how did they take perfect order and they twisted it? They turned it back in on itself. And you can really see that. Like, it's almost like I can step outside and look down and see it, which is, pretty fascinating. But then it makes you want to go think on everyone else and be like, do you see it? And you can't, because they have to want to do it for themselves, you know?
Exactly. They have to want to do it for themselves. And you have to give them the space until they're ready. You can't force it upon others.
And it's really
Let them
hard.
gravitate to you. Just love them, and eventually they will come.
Yeah, it's really hard to be in that space because I do love people so much that I always want to make it better for them. So a lot of the people that are in my field are, you know, that rescuer in me wants to be like, we can make this better. We don't have to do this.
Well, that's a part of the game, you see, and so that's what we've got. I mean, most of the systems are set up to victim, intimidator, and rescuer. So every time we feel ourselves being drawn in, just stop. Seriously, just stop. Come back into knowing that your soul is perfect, and that, you see, this is one of the fundamentals of unity consciousness, is to see only wholeness. You see, if I see broken and I'm a creator, what am I creating more of? More
More
broken.
brokenness.
Oh, you know, and that's why it comes down to every vibrational output that I'm putting out. If I'm seeing separation, if I'm seeing broken, I'm really in duality. You know, you cannot put broken out onto your quantum field, because this is the way we've created this mess. And you're right. I mean, we've been through an inverted Christ. We've been through inverted parenting, inverted education. Everything's been back to front, upside down. But the beauty of it is we all know it now. It's like there's that much information. I mean, really seriously, you know, anybody can get this information and sort it out. But it comes back to the purity of wholeness. And that's what all of the masters and the Christ said, be whole, be whole. Do not project brokenness. What you sow, you reap. It's teaching us that what we put onto our quantum field, being quantum creators, that it's going to come back. And the only thing that you're doing, that's why I don't believe in darkness. And well, I know that it exists and has been, but I don't go into attacking the self, because it's just the same stuff. We already know what's in there. Okay, it's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that your subconscious taken on because you're imprinted with it, and then you just lived it out for a while. This is where you've got to give yourself an absolute break, okay, and don't judge yourself. Do not put yourself under scrutiny. All of these are beautiful little tips, okay, that you can just go, no, I'm not going to, because every time you look at yourself, you're bringing yourself back to broken.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You've got to see yourself as wholeness, and the only place you can find wholeness is sovereign soul connection.
Yeah.
And you're not broken. You're actually in alignment then, and there is nothing but joy here. So coming out of that, looking at yourself, you know, I mean, I know that this is an important time, but you just do it when you're feeling that something comes up and you go, oh, what's that? But you're not digging around, because you're a creator. If you're actually going to go into something, that you keep this, you see, we're coming out of learning. So we are coming out of observation. Observation ended back in, 2014 or something. Okay. We're not in observation. We're in activation. We're in doing now. So conscious creating is what we're doing. So if anyone's sitting on a park bench watching themselves and observing others, you're in a place of superiority, which is the game. Okay. So all you're doing is casting judgment on a creation, which is saying you're broken. See how we perpetuate it? We are actually quantum creators. In everything that we're doing, we are projecting. That's cool. That just makes life so much easier. Now I can go and do what I want.
That's beautiful. I know that we're coming up to the end of the hour, and I want to make sure that if you have anything else you would like Ruth to really impart into this, please do. Because I mean, if there's anything that you feel that just needs to go out to the world, that they need to know more about for you and what you're doing and how it's affecting others, where they can reach out to yourself or myself in regards to, and then others that you have that are in your network.
Totally. So we've got on the website, we've got the different healings, a healing page and offerings. We have, I've got this online stuff. So you can get 3 1-hour or more trainings for, $66 and just download it and feast out on some quantum law stuff that most people don't know. So that's really cool. You can do the Diamond Light Body Recode and just book that as a package. So there's packages on as well as the school. So that's really cool to have a look at. Don't Play the Game that we were talking about. You can actually purchase that. And look, Don't Play the Game is amazing, okay? I know that we're not connecting a person to their sovereignty within it, but that Don't Play the Game, you can actually download and play it to a group. You can workshop it anywhere that you like as much as you want. So we're wanting facilitators to get a whole bunch of people together and just do it. It's like, show 10 people how this works, because it sets you free from domestic violence, from mental health, emotional stuff. It shows you how to function, and you walk out of the game of duality by 70 to 99.9%. It's incredible. You can just go, oh, not doing that. But if you don't understand how it works, then all of these people who are in the system and lost within it can't understand it. So it's just amazing, this teaching that you can do. And law of acquisition can be purchased, I think, online as well, which is a whole thing on how you as a creator can do it. You haven't come into your sovereignty, though. That's why the Diamond Light Body Recode is really important, but it can be purchased online. So we've got, the Diamond Quantum School, and everything that happens within that is immense, but you can't give a person the power of diamond as in opening up their heart centers. And this is a problem with a lot of our spiritual leaders right now. They don't know how to come through the portal of the heart and into the heart, because all of the new creation is inside the heart center. So everything is pouring out. It's all within us, you see. So the heart has to be open so that more of the divinity can sit within us and be here and present, opening us up to the new consciousness. So unless you actually understand, become sovereign and with the power, but you have to actually balance that with the law of acquisition and the understanding on quantum law. Otherwise, if you're in the game with power, you're just going to create the same stuff, only it's going to be like, cool,
That's about it.
Yeah. So we want you to come out of plan B, creating as a little pointy will creator, into the greater will. So you need to understand how all of that works. And it's simpler than you realize, but that knowledge is so important to us.
And that is something that you really do provide, Ruth. And that's why I wanted you to be spotlighted today, because it is so important for all of us to really get this information. And the fact that you spent the years, it's an honor to be able to share what you shared.
Thank
So
you.
I truly have watched some, so the end here, what I really want to do is just set in somewhat of a testimony of my own journey this last year. I went to Ruth because I randomly phoned her out of nowhere. She was living in Australia at the time. And I'm just like, hun, I have a situation. And I was thinking upon it, and I was drawn to ask you for some assistance. I know that you do some recalibrations and stuff on your bodies, and you help people to regulate things. I had just come out of an ER being told I was getting a stent. I was getting scheduled for a major event and life transforming. I was at the end of what I felt like was my whole life. And I was really petrified. And I reached out. Ruthie, without even question, odd time that it was. Here's the link. Set up a time. We're going to get together right now. Let's go. She immediately opened up her schedule for me, because she felt my emotional distress. Here I am, I'm having a crisis. It was a physical crisis. She comes in, we do the 90-minute, we completely walk through everything. And I go in Not only to her, but I go to Joe as well for some Reiki because I'm going to everyone and anything because I'm believing. I'm believing for some serious rearrangement and some serious healing. And between the two of them and what they move and what they do, I literally was told in one facility, here it is, here's the document, you're going in, you're going to go over to this one, we're going to get you with this cardiologist, we're going to do this stent so that we can save your life because the widowmaker is about to go. You know, I had clogged off and blocked off the left upper ascending vessel. Wasn't taking care of myself. I didn't know any better. Go off to these two. And then weeks later, I finally get everything squared away, get the finances together so that I can go in and get these tests and everything else that needed to be done. I go in and they're sitting there doing running the tests on me and they're going, according to your chart, it says that we're getting ready to put in a stent. I said, yeah, I know. That's why I'm here. They're like, I'm looking at the results. You have a heart of an 8-year-old.
Wow.
An 8-year-old. It's pumping, it's functioning. There's no clogs, there's nothing going on. So I come back and I'm like, oh my God, everything's clear. How did you do? She says, well, you just received. You just received. And that's the point. This stuff here is so real. It literally saved my life. So I sit here with a lot of gratitude for two individuals who literally took time out of their lives and knew there was a way. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to be for everyone, but that was my story. And that's my truth. And I'm standing in it. And I want people to know it's available. If you believe,
Yeah.
you can receive. And that's the truth. And so for me, that's what I wanted to share. That's my testimony. And behind all the diamond matrix, it literally saved my life. I was at a very scary pivotal point. I remember what it felt like. And to come back to it and realize what it really was, where the doctors misdiagnosed me. What actually was happening was my heart chakra had blown wide open and I couldn't breathe. And that's what it was. As I was coming into my fullness of my light body activating, I didn't know how to cope. So I needed direction. And that's what this book does. It gives you the directions. Thank you so much, Ruth, for showing up, for your part in everything that you do. Blessings, love, and light.
Thank you, Darla. Thank you so much. You're a treasure, soul treasure. Thank you, Kat.
Yes. I wanted to add to that too because I'll have to tell my own experience. So this is my first time meeting you, for everyone else out there listening. And when in your book you talk about doing the Ruthie walk, to come along with you and do the Ruthie walk. And that's fairly early. So there was a lot of stuff that I hadn't come through. So when I first read that, I was like, I knew quantum. I understood the concept of quantum and, believed all that. And I went to bed, that night after reading that. And I was just like, I was thinking about that, right? And I was like, okay, where are we gonna walk to then, girl? Like, and I'm saying this in my head, right? And I don't feel nothing. I'm just sitting with it. And I go to bed and I woke up in the middle of the night and you were there. I knew it was you. I mean, I was just laying there like blinking and I was like, I could feel like, I don't know. I mean, you were just there. I don't know what. I could feel Darla's presence. I could feel yours. I could feel my friend Shayna's. I felt like you guys were all there, like rearranging stuff within me. And I was just laying there, like, I feel this. I really feel this. I'm feeling this. And I was in such awe of it. And honestly, I was in awe of how big you are. Like, the energy of you is enormous. And I could feel you. And I was just like, it was like a little kid seeing like their hero, their celebrity hero, and just being like, like that's how I felt inside. And I just, I just sat there and, the next day I just, like certain parts that always felt tense in me, just, they weren't, my heart felt lighter. Um, and so, I continue to read your book, and I took it one chapter at a time and just really sat with each chapter and the questions that you asked, and really, you know, dove deep within myself to find the answers to that. And all I can say is in March is when I started working with Darla, and I am 180 completely a different person, like 100 degrees. And it's just getting better. It's just getting better. That's all I know.
The soul just takes over. This morning when I came in, knowing that we were doing this, my soul just steps forward.
Yeah.
And this is where your heart center is open, your light body's open, your soul is doing it, and we absolutely trust it. And so there's always impartation, but the magic that's actually happening now is these like visitations that we're all over, but we're doing just the most remarkable things day in, day out. And I just want to thank every single person on this planet, really, because we've come into the new consciousness, and we're all doing it. And for those that are listening too, we're coming into our soul tribes and our monadic groups and our connections now. So don't worry about what you're leaving. Look forward to what is coming, because that's where your true signatures are shining. Your gifts and abilities are just being enhanced. And we need that, we need you. We need every single one of us to be turned on and projecting as a creator. All I want to do is love you. How can I love you? Bring my skill sets. What's that? Well, it's going to be enhanced. It might look completely different to what it has been in the past. Don't worry about it. It's on its way. Okay, just keep coming up into the new frequency, which we barely understand. Okay, this 6 months I'm starting to talk about level 2 has been something that is blowing my mind, because the new consciousness is just gloriously beautiful, different to what we've done before. That's why you can't expect it to be the same. It's not. This is new. It's never been lived by humanity before, or the earth. So come on up.
This
Thanks.
is amazing. Thank you so much, Ruth. Blessings, love, and light. And I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. Thank you all for being out there and tuning in. Till next time. Bye for now.